my family lovingly says, I believe that it's lovingly, that I'm one of the worst people on planet Earth to watch game shows with.
Oh, I thought you were just going to stop that statement after Earth. And I was like, that's kind of tough from your family.
Well, because I believe that I should shout out the answers if I know them at all times, no matter what show it is or what the rules are or anything like that, because how else would everyone know that I know the answer?
Right. Look, you've got these decades of experience that you need to share with them.
I've been doing this for a while, y'all. But now I've found my kindred spirit, and he's right here on campus in Chapel Hill. Rotimi Kukoyi is here with us. He was on Jeopardy last week. He made it to the finals, Jones, of the Second Chance event. Rotimi, I got to tell you, I was watching your initial episode of this go around, and Rotimi's up there with old people now, like us.
Yeah. So he's not intimidated right now. That's good to know.
And they panned the 3 contestants, and I said, there's something about that guy I like.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it turns out he's a sophomore at Carolina. Rotimi, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here.
Man, we got a lot to talk about. I'm excited about this.
So explain to people who don't already know how you ended up on there with old people, but just dominating and showing everybody what's up from Carolina.
It's a funny story, actually. So I was on the team tournament during my freshman year of high school in 2018. Fast forward about 4 years to my freshman year here at Carolina. We get an email from the producer. Everybody that was in the team tournament back then, he says, we want you guys back on the Jeopardy set. So I was super excited. I mean, I flew out to LA January of 2023, got to the hotel, tested positive for COVID, unfortunately. It was a real bummer. I got to watch my friends play, but I didn't get to play. However, the producer did shoot me a text on Halloween this year saying, Rotimi, here's your chance. Second chance tournament. Do you want to do it? I was like, of course. So I got flown back out to LA in December, and I got to play in the second chance tournament. But the caveat is, all of these players are from the past season, so they were adults.
Right.
I ended up being the only college student in my week, and then there's a college student the week before me. But yeah, that was a pretty big overview.
So how did you get on initially back in 2018? Like, how does that process work?
Yeah, so back then, they would have this commercial on TV, and they're announcing a test. Yeah. Because I was like a kid, and typically you have to be an adult, they have special events for younger students. The one I tried out for was the teen tournament for people who are high school aged. I was in 8th grade at the time, but I'd be feeding into high school the next year. So took the online test February of 8th grade year. I passed whatever random amount it was that you needed to get called to an in-person audition. So I got selected to be in that pool kind of randomly out of the people who passed. So I went down to New Orleans with my family that June. And then we had to take a 50-question paper test in the room. Wow. So they knew we weren't cheating with like Google or anything.
It's a lot of tests.
Yeah, there's a lot of tests, a lot of random stuff. And then we played like a mock Jeopardy game, a mock interview, and then I got the call at the end of July.
Man, okay. I want to start with the buzzer.
Yeah.
I feel like people feel like the buzzer doesn't work. Like when they're like, if their light isn't coming on, they're like, and then they look at it like they're really mad at it. Like, how did your buzzer work?
You know, it varied by game.
Okay. So, I mean, do you think there's some shoddiness with the buzzers?
I think the buzzer works. I think it was more me, honestly. But something super cool that Jeopardy started doing this season is they publish buzzer data online. It's called, if you look up like jeopardydata.com or something, it comes up. And so I looked at my games. My first game, I was buzzing at about 75, 76% accuracy, which is really high.
Yeah.
Given that most players I feel like are in the 40 to 60 range. Second game, I think I was in the 60 range, but my last game, I ended up clocking it at just 25%.
Whoa!
So that was way lower. It was I was playing some pretty tough contestants, but my hands were cramping during that game. So
really?
What they don't tell you is they film all these games during the same day.
Right.
So I had done one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then we were coming back for the second part of the finals, and we went to the green room, we changed in like 5 minutes, redid makeup, we were back on that stage. And at that point, my fingers had just had it.
Yeah, I bet.
When you go to the green room, is there smack talk with the other two guys? Are you like, man, I can't believe you missed that. That was basic knowledge.
Honestly, everybody's pretty nice, I have to say. It was a little intense, though. Everybody had their own thing. Some people were studying materials. Some people were talking trivia. I was like, wow, these people are geniuses. And then they're talking about, I was like, oh, what do you do for a living? Like, oh, I'm a lawyer. I was like, oh, I'm a college student. You know? So that in itself was scary, but everybody was super, super nice and funny, especially the two I played with in the finals.
What's the balance on Jeopardy between... Like, what % of the time do you actually know the answer? Like, I feel like a normal person like me gets excited when we know a couple. But I feel like you probably know everything up there. It's just a matter of whether you get in on the buzzer. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say I typically know about 60% of the game material, which is pretty solid. But yeah, the buzzer is just a big factor of it, because if you can't buzz in on what you know, then it's like, what's the point?
What's the point of even being here at that point?
Right.
Was there a category that you were like, man, I hope this category comes up? And was there a category where you were like, please do not have this one come up on the board?
Yeah, so categories I really like. Soccer, huge soccer
Oh.
fan. But they almost never have soccer categories exclusively.
Right.
Mythology,
Okay.
and then literature, and then U.S. history.
Okay.
In terms of categories I didn't want to see, 2 of them were in my game, actually, my first game that I won. One of them was woman in country music. And
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Women in country music. That's a very specific one.
Absolutely. I did not get a single question right in that category.
Tanya Tucker. Reba McEntire.
She was there.
Oh, nice.
was in there.
Nice.
And then the other one was fish. I've never fished in my life. So I think I got like one of the fish questions right, but that was it.
I feel like Jeopardy strategy has changed from olden times when I used to watch, when you would pick like something for 100,
Yeah.
200, 300, and you'd go straight down.
Well, I see there was some order there. Now people are just flying around the board all hanky-panky. I don't even know what's happening out there.
So why is that the strategy now? Why is that better?
Because James Holzhauer broke Jeopardy. I was on the show a couple months before his appearance, actually, same season. So when I first played, there was a start from the top, go down the
Yeah.
bottom. And then James came, and he just brought so much game theory and chaos into the game. Because he showed that if you can find the daily doubles, bet big, and get it right, you can nearly guarantee yourself a win. And that's a strategy that we've seen a lot of really successful super champs go on to incorporate. So now the strategy is find the daily double as early as you can. Bet big. If you think you'll know it, try to bet small if you don't think you'll know it. But
Sure.
just really hope you get it right. And if you do that, and if you get the daily double right, you can win. But it's really hard to win games without finding daily doubles now.
Well, and it makes sense because even if you find it and it's in if it was in like fish and you didn't like it, but at least somebody else didn't get it,
Exactly.
so you could bet super low.
Exactly.
And then at least somebody else doesn't get the
And
opportunity.
they're not doubling their score right there.
And that's basically how Long won in the second chance tournament,
Right.
because he found the daily doubles and bet everything.
Absolutely.
And got them all right, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep,
Maybe
both.
missed one.
Both Long and Roy were my competitors, and Roy did the same thing. He found 2 daily doubles, one in the first round of the finals, one in the second round of the finals. I guess he found 2 in the second round, but he bet it all every time. Unfortunately, he missed it both times that he did that big wager, and so that's what really set him back. But it's really just about having the confidence and the courage to make the big wager when you need to and really hope it pays off, and Long was able to do that.
Go ahead.
When you're standing there and you know you're a smart person, but you can see your score and it's like 200 and the other guy's got 14,000, what's going through your mind as you stand there?
I'm like, wow, they're really good. Number one. Number two, I started trying to rethink some buzzer strategies. Like, can I change it up a little bit to try and get back in the game? And the last thing is, I really hope I can find a daily double.
Yeah. So what I want to. I'm sorry to go back to the buzzer. So so what would be a change in buzzer strategy? Like, to me, you just press it as fast as you can.
Yeah, so there's 2 different ways you can really try and change it. One is the position you're holding the buzzer. I read a book called Secrets of the Buzzer. It's recommended by a lot of Jeopardy champs. That's what James Holzhauer used. And it goes through this one former champion wrote a book on the best ways to maximize your buzzer time. Like, outside of like caffeine, he was looking at the way you hold it with your hand, whether you're buzzing in based on listening to the last syllable of the host, or if you're waiting for lights. That's something a lot of people at home can't see, or you can't see it at all. But on the Jeopardy stage, next to all the clues, they have 2 sets of lights, and those lights come on when the buzzer's enabled. There's a crew member who works on the side, and he hits a little button that activates the buzzer, and it's supposed to activate on the last syllable. Of course, there's a little bit of variety since it's a human doing it, but you can either try to buzz based off of the host's speak and timing, or you can do it based on the lights. And so I typically tried to combine the 2 of them a little bit as in anticipating the last syllable, and then when I see the lights, just smashing it. But sometimes you find your own rhythm and just go based on that.
Man.
The very first time you were on was with Alex Trebek, who it seems like, based on your comments the second time around, made a really big impression on you. What was it about Alex Trebek that made him so perfect for this role that he did for so many years?
I think one of the best things about Alex was he was exactly the same person on and off camera. I mean, during the morning, he came out to all of us when we were just practicing, and he was wearing a jean jacket. He was taking pictures with us. He was just like, I love the team tournament. I love you guys. He was so nice and really funny too. But just with Alex, he had such a wise stage presence to him. I mean, he made you feel comfortable. You know, you heard his voice on TV for years, and now you're hearing it in person, and he was just so wise, and definitely the show is missing out on him, but I think Ken's done a really good job too in replacing him.
Is there like a Jeopardy family? Like, do you guys have like a text chat or something? I mean, do you like keep in touch with other people who are Jeopardy alums?
Yes. So for my team tournament, we have like a group me, and so that's just all of us. I get to see a lot of them all the time. It's really nice. But then I recently joined the adult Jeopardy community, so I'm in a Jeopardy Facebook for past Jeopardy players only. And then
Timmy's like, a what now? I gotta get a what page?
I had to Google how to make a Facebook post last week.
I don't have Facebook. Adam has Facebook. I don't have Facebook, Timmy. I'm much cooler than that. Don't worry about that.
On the TikTok dances?
Well, I'm not quite. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not in the middle.
Okay. You're a Twitter, Instagram guy. Yeah. But yeah, Jeopardy Facebook and then a Jeopardy Discord. So I've gotten to talk to a lot of current players and champions now. It's really nice. I'm sitting there, we're watching the games in real time, and we're all in this like Discord talking about, oh my gosh, you crushed it. Good job in like real time. So it's awesome.
Were you a Jeopardy fan? Do you just like trivia? Are you just like smart and you're like, yes, that was cool, I'll try this? Like, why was it something that you wanted to do initially?
Yeah, so my family had always watched Jeopardy like every night at dinner growing up, but I never made the connection to actually wanting to be on Jeopardy until I went to DC and we were talking with like my dad's college roommate, and he was like, you're a smart kid, you should go on Jeopardy. And something in my head just clicked. I was like, oh, maybe I should try. So I got my chance with the teen tournament. I'd never done, there's like Scholars Bowl in middle school and high school, which is like quiz bowl. It's just a sports trivia. I had never done that. It always conflicted with my soccer practice, but I was like, I read a lot. I watch Jeopardy a lot. Let me give it a shot. And I was able to get on the show. So there's that. But this time around, I definitely wanted to prepare more. So I was reading what all the past Jeopardy champs had done. You know, I was reading really helpful books, going through old clues, just making a ton of flashcards. So it was very similar to the way somebody would prep for quiz bowl.
Yeah.
Do you go back and watch your episodes? Like, man, that is a handsome fellow up there.
I think the only time I've rewatched my episodes was when I was with my friends at the watch parties. It's funny because the game just goes by so quickly. You're on the stage and you're off, and so I'm watching these games and I'm like, wow, I got that right? Surprised that I buzzed in. Or I'm like, why did I buzz? I don't even know what that is. So you forget all of it while you're there. So it's nice a little bit to rewatch it.
Do you buzz every time, whether you know it or not?
Absolutely not. That's a great way to get into the negatives and stay there.
What a stupid question, Adam. You just lost the Daily Double, Lucas. Get out of here. What is the set like? Is it intimidating? How big is the board? Those are a lot of different questions, but all ones I want answers to.
So the set is so much smaller than I thought. It's like the audience is really small. It's maybe 10 rows of seats, and then there's like a divider, and then the stage itself is just about as big as it looks on TV, but there's nothing past that. There's like a little backdrop, and then another backdrop and a wall, and that's it. And the TVs, so they have, I believe, 36 like pretty big flat screen TVs or HD, and they have like the categories on the top ones and the actual clues. But the lettering is kind of small. I remember when we were doing the warm-up games, one of the contestants next to me said, man, I need to get my glasses for this. And it's so true.
Is there another game show you want to go on? There are not a lot of game shows left anymore, I feel like that.
You need to check out the Game Show Network.
I want to do Supermarket Sweep. You know that's the case.
You know, before Jeopardy, the original dream was Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, come on now. I would love Wheel of Fortune.
I've submitted my audition tape.
Yes!
Waiting to hear back. We'll see if it works out. But also, you know, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is also kind of in the trivia warehouse. I don't know if they still take new people, but if they're listening, I'm here and I want to be on the show.
Dude, I would love Wheel of Fortune. I could host Wheel of Fortune. I've told this before.
If you were the host, we would have an easy way to
I'd be like, Timmy, come on. You're on first episode. Let's go.
Look at that. You got 5,000 again. What are the chances? How did you end up at Carolina?
Oh, yeah. So my college application process was a little bit of a crazy journey. I applied to 15 schools, and I ended up getting into all of them. And I was like, where do I want to go? So I came from Alabama, and I think I just wanted to leave the state and explore a little bit more outside of it. But Carolina specifically, when visiting it, it was probably the most fun I had. I came for the Moorhead Kane Scholarships Discovery Weekend, which happened to align with the Duke UNC game. So I got to actually rush Franklin back in 2022, which was insane. It was super. I was like, whoa, this is college? I want to be here. So that was a big part of it, just seeing like the fun culture, the sports culture, but also like the academic programs. I'm in the Gilling School of Global Public Health, which is super, super strong. I'm studying health policy and management there, which is a degree not offered by other schools that I looked into. So a lot of different factors came together, but ultimately I think it's just the Tar Heel community and spirit plus the work hard, play hard balance.
We've all seen people on the news or social media or whatever who have done what you've done and have got into all these crazy schools that it's hard to get into one, and these people get into all of them. Now we're sitting here with one. What is the benefit to you of kind of publicizing this and telling people that this has occurred?
Yeah. So I think one part of it for me was I wanted to motivate other Black students. I think it's really important to see that kind of representation in the media. That's a powerful narrative that's not always highlighted. And additionally, I think I was just like, well, I can either share my story or not share it. But if I share it now, I think it's something that will always benefit me. I mean, if you look at my name, it's something that comes up, and it's like, I think it just adds a little bit of credibility to who I am and what I want to do. And it also shows that I intentionally chose UNC for a reason. And I think that speaks volumes.
All right, before we let you go, what are okay, so you said you're in the School of Public Health.
Yeah.
So what is long-term, other than being like a dynasty on Jeopardy? What's the plan? What's the goal? What are the aspirations?
Yeah, I have a lot of aspirations, a lot of goals. Career-wise, I'll probably change it up a bit. But at the moment, I'm hoping to pursue an MD MBA, looking into going to medical school while also getting a business degree during a gap year between my third and fourth years of that. And then moving into medicine as a physician leader. So that's somebody who they're seeing patients, but they're also involved in some of these administrative decisions. Because I think that it's really, really important to make sure that you're taking care of and interacting with patients very regularly. That's almost like a pulse check on broader population health, but also then being able to advocate for those patients in positions of power and say, I'm seeing this in the clinic. These are the changes we need to make to address those. And so something that's come up a little bit now is like when I was shadowing a doctor over winter break, they saw every other patient was coming in with like some sort of viral infection. About a month later, I see news articles talking about, we're having viral infection spikes. But when you're in the clinic, you just see that stuff earlier and you're in a position where you can act on it.
That all sounds like a good fallback, but maybe if you really excel, you could host a podcast.
Yeah. What about that? Maybe a Jeopardy podcast.
That would be pretty much the top of the mountain.
I think that's honestly my real pipeline dream, to be to be in some form of entertainment, because I love to hear myself talk. My friends call me a D1 yapper. So that would be awesome, but if not then med school.
Yeah. Most people who sit in your chair are here specifically because of sports.
Yeah.
You didn't come here specifically because of sports, but we know it was like you had a sports experience.
Yeah.
What do you think Carolina sports has added to your Carolina experience since you've been on campus here?
It's really, really hard to be bored at UNC, which is something that I can't say for a lot of schools. And almost any day of the week, if you want to watch a national champion team or a nationally ranked team, you can go watch them, whether that's women's field hockey or soccer or basketball or lacrosse. Like, there's always a game going on. I think that just adds to the culture of this school.